Welcome to U Sports. I'm Chris Kirkby and this is Samantha Drake.
We have highlights from Saturday's football home opener against Northwest Oklahoma State.
Find out how the women's soccer team is preparing for a 7-game road trip and recap on college and NFL football action. But first, the football team's riding a big wave after their upset in Minnesota. U-News' Sarah Wheeler finds out if they'll keep the momentum going.
The Coyotes carry a lot of hype into their home opener. The question is, will this momentum help the Coyotes win big in Week 3? The Coyotes took on Northwest Oklahoma State on Saturday. The dome was packed for what was expected to be a blowout. Star quarterback Dante Warren started right where he left off in Minneapolis by scoring the first touchdown. He went on to throw for over 150 yards and 3 touchdowns. One of them was a 26-yard toss to tight end London Landry. At halftime, the Coyotes led 34-7. Wide receiver Tom Flanagan also had a big day, with 2 touchdown grabs and 6 catches for 65 yards. After the game, Flanagan talked about the big win and how they too didn't want to be the subject of an upset.
When you're supposed to win, you have to win. I mean, a team like this, we're supposed to beat on paper, and we have to come out and beat them. I mean, yeah, it was a Super Bowl win last week, but that was last week.
The Coyotes traveled to Fargo, North Dakota to take on NDSU next weekend. For U-News at the Dome, I'm Sarah Wheeler.
Thanks, Sarah. The Coyotes return home in 2 weeks to battle the University of North Dakota over D-Days. In other college football news, on Saturday, the Iowa Hawkeyes fell to the University of Arizona. The Hawkeyes dropped to number 18 in the AP Top 25 poll after the 34-27 loss. The Hawkeyes look to battle back against Ball State on Saturday at noon.
In the Big 12, the Nebraska Huskers blew by the Washington Huskies 56-21. With the win, the Huskers move up to the number 6 position in the national polls and host South Dakota State this weekend at 7 o'clock. Another win for the Coyote women's soccer team has players and coaches feeling confident. The Coyotes women's soccer team earned a victory over Eastern Washington now that they face the challenge of having 7 away games in a row. Head coach Mandy Green is optimistic about the Yotes' future.
I've been telling them I think we can win 8 of 11. So that's what we're going for, 8 of 11 for our last 11 games.
The Coyotes have 3 wins, 4 losses, and 1 tie following a victory over Eastern Washington. As they prepare to cross the country over the next 7 games, senior player Erica Menning explains the key to success when playing so many games on the road.
I'd like to hear it. I mean, it'll be adjustment to travel, but it's kind of a rhythm we get into where we just it becomes almost routine. So it's kind of the life of a D1 athlete, I suppose.
Senior Michelle Marshall says the team has a newfound chemistry.
I feel like we're doing better this year. We're just playing more together and playing for each other, and I don't know, it's just completely different than last year, even though the record's the same.
Good luck to the Yotes in their tough upcoming schedule.
The Coyote volleyball team battled tough on Sunday against South Dakota State before falling in 4 sets at the Doublewood Inn Classic. South Dakota dropped 2 matches early in the tournament to North Dakota and Tulsa. The Coyotes return to action Saturday in their home opener against North Dakota at 5 in the Dome. In NFL news, the Minnesota Vikings fall to 0-2 on the season after losing to the Miami Dolphins over the weekend. Quarterback Brett Favre continued to struggle with 4 turnovers on the day. NFC North Division foe Green Bay picked up its 2nd win in as many weeks with the commanding defeat of Buffalo. The Packers' defense came up big by holding the Bills to less than 200 yards of total offense. Both teams will face division opponents in Detroit and Chicago this weekend.
On this week's Miller Zone, Kyle Miller challenges you to cheer on the Lady Yotes alongside him this weekend.
This Saturday is a big night for USD Athletics. The Coyote football team is currently on a 2-game winning streak, and they face a tough opponent in the North Dakota State Bison. NDSU shocked the Kansas Jayhawks in their season opener in Lawrence, and the Bison gave the Northern Iowa Panthers a run for their money in Cedar Falls, a game in which UNI only won by a touchdown. I expect the USD-NDSU game to be no different. The Yotes will have their work cut out for them, but with the explosiveness of the Yote offense and the strength of the defense, this is a game USC can definitely win. Kickoff is at 6 from Fargo. Now, also on Saturday, the Coyote volleyball team has a tough task ahead of them as they face North Dakota in their home opener. I've enjoyed covering volleyball since high school. It's an exhilarating sport to watch. High scoring, action-packed, and a thrilling momentum race throughout the whole match. Now, the Lady Yotes have struggled a bit on the road, and I think some home cooking is just what they need to get back on track. The match begins at 5 at the Dakota Dome. I'll be there cheering on the Oats. If you're not road tripping to Fargo, join me.
Thanks, Kyle. That's all for U Sports. Don't miss U Commentary coming up next. Host Garrett Fedrickson demonstrates the new activity taking USD by storm.